If you like coffee table books, this video is for you. I can't wait to show you all the books that I could be putting on my coffee table. Welcome back to the channel, Book Dragons. I am so glad that you're here with me. Today we're going to be talking about all of my coffee table books. Now you're probably asking several questions. Chaz, you don't drink coffee, right? That's right, I don't drink coffee. But Chaz, do you have a coffee table? I do have a coffee table, yes. And then the final question you might be asking is, do you keep books on your coffee table? And the answer would be, no. But I could. I could keep books on my coffee table. And yeah, I don't. But that's beside the point. I'm just going to show you all the books that are considered coffee table books. And I hope you really enjoy getting a look at some of these books in my collection. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right to it. The first book on this list is The Good Omens Television Companion. So this is a collectible book that I got. It was actually given to me. Somebody got it for me off of my list. And it is all about the making of the first season of Good Omens. And so it's got like little like story graphs in there of some of the ways that they wanted to design the show. It's got pictures of some of the characters in the show, some of the cast that portrayed them. And, it's got detailed descriptions of the characters in the show, like certain groups in the show, like the Them. And it's just a really, really awesome book. I absolutely love this. And I have not had a chance to sit down and go through it in detail, although I've kind of flipped through it. And, this is one of those books that you would expect to find on somebody's coffee table. So there you go. That is the first one. And I'll show you the back there too. It's really cool. So you've got Crowley up here, and on the flip side you've got Aziraphale upside down. So if you turn it this way, it's just super cool. So that is that one. The next one on this list is The Lost Encyclopedia. I am an official Losty. I love everything about Lost. I love the mystery. I love the suspense. I love the theories that go into watching Lost. The nice thing about this show is the more you watch it, and I've watched it like 3 times already, you're always seeing new things pop up, little Easter eggs that you didn't realize were there before in the earlier seasons. And sometimes you forget stuff that happens, so you're actually genuinely surprised when some of the stuff happens, and then after it happens, you're like, oh, you know what, I remember that now. So it's really fun to rewatch Lost. And this has a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it spoilers, it kind of helps you like understand certain characters. Like, how about that? I turned right to John Locke. You see that? I turned right to John Locke. And John is such an awesome character. He's one of my favorites in the show. And I'm a huge fan of Lost. So, of course, I had to have this little compendium. And, there's Charlie's Band Drive Shaft. I'm a huge Lost fan. So there we go. And yes, we're called Losties. And there's a whole tribe of us. And yes, I am one of a handful of Losties that liked the ending. I loved the ending of Lost, actually. So, in case you were wondering. Alright. The next one is a recent acquisition. I won a giveaway over on Chris's channel, Chris Reviews, and I just ended up sending her my list, and she got me something to surprise me, and it turned out to be this, The Rise of the Dragon by George R. R. Martin. This is a somewhat condensed version of Fire and Blood with full color artwork inside, and it's just an absolutely beautiful book. I can't wait to look through it more, and it does have a lot of the text from Fire and Blood in it, but not all of the text is there. And yeah, it's just I love stuff like this because I'm really big into the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire and the world of Westeros. So when I got this, I was super excited because it's been on my list for a while. And yeah, I'm so happy with this. Thank you, Chris. Make sure you check out Chris's channel. I'm going to tag her in the links below so that you can check her out, okay? All right. The next one I've got here is a book called The Crafting, and it's kind of dusty. Oh, The Crafting of Narnia. You can tell I don't look at it very much, but this is a book I got way back in the day when the Narnia movies were still really popular, and this is a book all about what they did to make the show and different character models and things like that they used to make the Narnia movies. So it's actually pretty cool, especially if you're into learning about movie props and things like that. And that kind of stuff excites me. I enjoy stuff like that. So getting my hands on this puppy right here was really cool. I am not as big a fan of Narnia as I used to be. It hasn't aged well for me personally for various reasons, but I still think stuff like this is cool. So that's that there. Okay, you may not know this about me, but I am a huge fan of ancient Egypt. Ancient world history in general is something I'm pretty nerdy about. U.S. history, I could care less. Ancient world history, give me Rome, give me Greece, give me Egypt. Egypt especially, I'm down. I'm there. I love stuff like that. Ancient civilizations is one of my favorite things to read about and study. So I have this coffee table book right here, and this is just titled Ancient Egypt, and it has lots of different articles and things like that. It's kind of more of an encyclopedia, you know, so it makes for a good coffee table book. And, you know, some of the pottery that they found in archaeological digs and things like that. It's just really cool. So I love stuff like this. Ancient Egypt is a huge topic for me. Love it. And on that note, I have another one called Egypt, Gods, Myths, and Religion. And as the title says, this is all about the different gods and deities of ancient Egypt and different archaeological digs that they've unearthed that paid tribute to some of these gods and myths, different archaeological sites that they've dug at. And it just goes into detail a lot about the ancient gods of Egypt, whether they be major gods, minor gods, that sort of thing. So I love stuff like this, guys. I eat this stuff up. And yeah, so that's an awesome one there. The next coffee table book I've got is The Book of the Dragon, illustrated by Monsant Cruello. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but anyway, this is really cool. It has a lot of lore about dragons in it. It has a lot of different illustrations about dragons, and you know I love dragons, so this is just really cool. A friend of mine gave this to me back in college, so I've had it a long time. Yeah, it's really, really awesome there. Lots of different sections. It goes into a lot of different topics about the physiology of dragons and their love for riddles and stuff like that. It's awesome stuff. And I have another coffee table book about dragons, and this is The Flight of Dragons by Peter Dickinson and illustrated by Wayne Anderson. And this is just another book with a lot of details about dragons, different sketches, what they've been compared to, kind of where some of the lore came from, stuff like this, really cool. So, different illustrations and information on dragons. It's very, very cool. So, that is that one. Love me some dragons, so I gotta have stuff like this, right? And then the final two are a little bit off the beaten path for me because I'm not a huge comic book nerd. I am with some comic books. I do like comic books, but I didn't grow up obsessed with comic books. Okay? There were a few that I read pretty religiously, like the X-Men comics and stuff like that. But just in general, comics weren't necessarily a big thing for me. I'm more into the new iterations in the movies and stuff like that. And then the movies kind of made me want to dive into certain comics and look at the comics that the movies were inspired by. But I do have these books right here, and I'm going to start off with the DC Comics Encyclopedia. Now, this is probably not completely up to date. There's been new stuff done with DC since this came out. I think I got this like 10 years ago, maybe, or more. You can kind of see the dust jacket's a little beat up and everything like that. But it's an encyclopedia, dictionary entry on different DC Comics characters. Things like this. You've got a lot of dictionary entries there. So pretty much every character in the DC universe you're going to find in here with small entries, and some of the major DC characters have multiple page entries. So you get characters like Green Lantern and stuff like that. The Green Lantern Corps has multiple entries in this book, and it has been well used. I mean, you can tell the dust jacket's pretty tattered. I'm not the only one that has used this one. My kids have used it a lot because they were really into learning about a lot of the different DC characters, especially when we were watching the Justice League cartoons together and Justice League Unlimited. So, yeah, that's a really cool one. Now, I will say, I'm not a really, really big DC Comics fan in general. A lot of the newer DC movies I haven't totally enjoyed. There have been a few that I liked, but overall, I don't think that Warner Brothers is doing a really great job with the DC universe. And I've never been a huge fan of DC to begin with. I love Batman, I love Green Lantern, and there's a few others I like as well, but overall, not a huge fan there. Now, Marvel, on the other case, I also have the Marvel Encyclopedia. and this is where we get into the cream of the crop, because I'm a huge fan of the Marvel universe. Not only the written universe, but also the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I love seeing some of the characters that I know and love, especially some of the X-Men that have been portrayed in films and seeing some of those characters come to life. And I mean, Ian McKellen as Magneto, chef's kiss, just absolutely awesome. And I'm excited to see what they do with the X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the next 5 years or so. It's probably going to be a while before we see them. But this is great, just like with the DC Comics Encyclopedia. This has dictionary entries on different characters. You can see Juggernaut featured down there, and it tells you all about how Juggernaut came to be and where he can be found. It like gives the different comic book issues that made his character popular, and just a whole bunch of different DC characters. There's Black Widow. It's great. It's great, and it's got an index so you can go and find the different characters that you want to look at, and it's just fantastic. The DC has an index as well, so you can flip to the back and you can be like, oh, okay, I want to find Magneto. So you look at what page Magneto is on and find him. And this one as well has a fairly tattered, dust jacket cover. It's been well used. It is still well used by me and my kids on occasion. So yeah, this has been well worth the money I spent way back in the day, like 10 plus years ago. We've had a long time. So that is my collection of coffee table books, guys. And I hope you have really enjoyed this. It's something a little bit different. I don't really see people talking about their coffee table books very much. And who knows? I may get more down the road. I don't know for sure. But I like what I have so far. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my collection of coffee table books. I would love to hear your feedback, or tell me some of your favorite coffee table books. That would be awesome. I'd love to hear what you have. If you have not already and you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would like the video. I'd love it if you would subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit me up on Discord where we can talk about all the good stuff like this, plus a whole lot more. And until next time, guys, make sure you're reading more books. I'll talk with you soon.